Hey everyone, this is Justin with Two Stall Garage, and we are going to be working on this 2004 MK4 Jetta. Working on this for a family member, for my sister to be exact, and having a little trouble with the secondary air pump. And the fix, I guess, is reported that it's most commonly not the hose, but it is the pump itself. I've got the pump right over here. I took the back cover off and I tested it against some 12 volt real quick. Everything turned out just fine. It works well. So I went ahead and I checked out the hose, and the hoses weren't even attached. At some point in time, this had a new motor put in it, and perhaps when that was done, they bumped it or took it out inappropriately, something to that effect, because the actual pump wasn't even connected to its mounts. It's got three rubber bolt mounts, or they have grommets on the bolts, I should say. So I checked out the hose here. It wasn't connected here at the end. We're trying to do this with practically no money involved for the fix for my sister. And so it had a hole here that had wore into it, likely because it was vibrating because it was moved out of place. I went ahead and plastic welded it and then covered it up with electrical tape. We had another hole here. This one was much bigger. Plastic welded that as well with some JB weld specifically for plastic. Works really well, holds really well. This pipe doesn't have to bend around a lot. Once it's in place, it'll stay in place. Went ahead and covered that as well. And the rest of the pipe actually looks pretty good. It's not fitting on like it's supposed to anymore. Right here, it goes on, but it's pretty loose on there. I mean, it's okay, you can't really see it too well, but where it's supposed to mate, it's a little loose. So we're gonna try to figure that out. What's gonna happen is this will come around, it's gonna go down through here, connect to the pump at the bottom. We'll install the pump here in just a little bit. It all has a secondary hose as well, just part of the system, and this hose is just fine except for it was barely connected to the pump down below. And we're throwing a code. The engine light is on. We're going to try to resolve this today. Car has maybe 114,000 miles on it. The engine was replaced around 94,000 for whatever reason that was. It was before she had it. So we'll get to it. All right, so we got to put the pump back together. I didn't take apart the whole case or anything. It wasn't necessary. I just wanted to get some width on these wires. I don't have the proper tester at the moment. So I took the back cover off, spring cover, and you'll see it goes on only one way. These got little dividers on them. Just sits right in. Spring is in. And then on your pump, you've got your connections. It's actually labeled, let's see here. Yeah, it's labeled right inside right here if you see that, positive and negative. And this is just gonna snap on with these clips. I won't show you that because I need two hands. Pump's all together. Everything's in like it should be, snapped in. The orientation of the pump is gonna be it's actually going to face this way, and it's gonna be just like that. So let's go ahead and get that reinstalled. Now the question is, what are we gonna do with the connectors, because these connectors don't hold anymore. So honestly, I'm gonna use some, they go inside. So I'm gonna use some PVC cement, and it's nothing that you can't necessarily get off if you have to. But ideally, the next time this pump needs to be replaced is when, or next time it has to be worked on is when this pump probably needs to be replaced. Doesn't happen often, it's an uncommon issue. So we're gonna PVC cement it in. We're gonna let it sit for 2 hours before we start the engine, and then we're gonna clear the code, and we'll see if that code comes back once we take it down the road. but there shouldn't be any air leaks. The pump works, so hopefully that will be it. All right, here we are underneath the car, and right here on the injection pump, on the power steering pump, we're gonna have to undo this 10. It connects up to this hose, the fitting, the little elbows, because we're gonna have to get the pump in that route, and we cannot fit it without taking this line off. So there's gonna be a mess when you do this. So we will see if I can hold the camera and do this at the same time. Oh, it's a little awkward. There we go. You lose some power steering fluid when you do this, quite a bit actually, but what are you supposed to do otherwise? Comes the power steering fluid. That is what it is. Okay. So that's done. We pull our bolt out. And now it's hard to see, but right here, let's see if I can get the camera to focus. I can't. Right here, there's the bracket for the pump. 3 spots for bolts. And then the hose is right here. So we'll get that connected and I'll come back. Just so you guys can see, here's the parts I ordered. It's got the 3 bolts with the grommets. It's got a built-in block on it so you can turn these tight. All right. So here's the injection. I keep saying that, I apologize. Here's the secondary air pump. I don't understand why they would do this. I understand, but at the same time, it's a pretty chintzy system. Here's one of the air hoses. And then way up here is another one. These are both curing. I put some PVC cement on the connections. Held it for about a minute. Normally it's about 30 seconds with regular PVC. But these weren't holding at all. Now they're holding nice and strong. Here's the bolts with the rubber grommets I got on eBay for about $8. The pump is connected right here. So that's what it looks like. It does have 3 bolts, 1, 2, and then 1 on the top. And everything should be sealed down here. Went ahead and I put the power steering line back on, secured that up. Don't over tighten it. It's not needing to be over tightened. Our hose clamp is tight. The hose looks fine. Taking a look at top. This also wasn't holding well. It's on with PVC cement. It'll come off if you need it to. For anyone saying, what if you change the air filter, let it come off. You don't have to take it off though. It does disconnect right here. So if you wanted to, you just pull these 2 apart. Then you can take your air box off, change the air filter, do whatever you need to do. I ran the hose down as best I could so it wouldn't touch anything. And here is the secondary hose. Maybe that's the primary, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter, but that hose is good. I checked it all the way back to its connection, and it is good. So, with that said, we're gonna let this cure for 2 hours. It can be handled in 15 minutes, it's cured in 2 hours, and it's warm in here about 45, 50. So we'll take it for a drive this afternoon after we clear the coat, and we'll see if it is healthy again. Before we take it out, we're gonna make sure we refill the power steering reservoir, so don't forget to do that. Just heads up. All right, I've driven it 2 miles down the gravel road, which is a total mess because it's melting right now and it is just muddy and sloppy as can be, so. That door open light's been on, so I checked all the doors in the trunk and the could, and everything is secured, so that's all good. I believe the check engine light would have come on by now. Nothing yet, so we are gonna drive this 10 miles. We're gonna go 5 miles to the east, to the west, and we'll go 5 miles east. So I won't bother you with all that. I'll catch you when we pull into the garage. Well, I didn't meet you back in the garage like I said I would, but we rotated the tires and the car is ready to go. So we'll catch you in the next one.